Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. And I've already done this video once, and for some reason it will not upload to my camera, to my computer. It's kind of upsetting me. Anyway, so if I repeat myself later on, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to come on and show you how you can make some different techniques, resist techniques and stuff like that with the Lyn Stamp Gang Spray. I just got my first order last month, and I really like the product. I've been using it an awful lot. Okay, I've been using it a lot. Okay, on this piece, I just have this little stamp set that's just these dots, bubbles, whatever you want to call them, and I just stamped them with some Versamark, and then put some clear embossing powder on them. And then I sprayed this with a homemade shimmer spray. These are older, before I got the Lyn Stamp Gang sprays. And this was just in like a blue silver color. And this is just photo paper. A lot of these are done on photo paper. Gives a nice shiny background, glossy kind of background. Here's another one I just did with a red gold, looks like, shimmer spray. Again, just stamped this barn, and then went and double stamped it with some clear embossing powder. At the time, that was all I had, clear and pearl. I just drew the barbed wire and the little rooster on top with a paint pen. This piece is a piece of chipboard, a cereal box, and what I did was I took my gesso, and I'm going to show you quite a few different things to do with the gesso. And this is that Dollar and Rowney from Walmart, and I really like it. It's got a good thickness to it. And I just took my palette knife and did these vertical pounces, I guess you'd say. And then this is just painted with that Folk Art metallic sapphire. And then down here on the bottom, I used a spiral silicone rubber stamp that I've got, that I bought for polymer clay. I believe it's in the polymer clay aisle. And I did that with the pearl metallic, the pearl embossing powder. Just stamped it with the Versamark, and then did the pearl embossing powder. So that's how that one's done. This is just some Strathmore cardstock, some pretty heavily textured cardstock. And again, I just did the vertical pounces with the palette knife for the icicles hanging up here, and then I just did some swipes with my palette knife down here. And then it's got a ice blue colored kind of glitter glue that I believe is like a 99-cent store kind, and it's actually started to yellow. I'm sure you can see. And then I just splattered with a toothbrush some snow on the background. And I believe the edges actually are done with some walnut stain, Distress ink. Okay, this piece is, there's quite a few tutorials out there for a technique called the Drunken Scotsman, I believe. Something similar to that, where you use a clear tacky glue and then you drop alcohol inks on it and then heat set it to dry. Well, I've done that and then done some alcohol ink mixatives on the top. Let me see if I can get this where you can really see the cool texture. It almost turns out like crystallized looking on parts of the background. This piece is just another one I was just playing around, did some swirls with my palette knife in the gesso, and it's got a red with that toasty marshmallow color that I made. My own shimmer spray, and this is just gold, interference gold Pearl-X powder with champagne metallic folk art, acrylic paint, and water. So that's that, and then it's got some gold glitter glue, some gold and some red glitter glue. And this one's done the same, exactly the same way. I've inked the edges though with some black, and then I've done a little rub of some gold, antique gold Pearl-X on the band across the middle on that one. This one I did the same way with the palette knife, except for I did it on a diagonal instead of vertically. And this is just done with that toasty marshmallow color with the walnut ink stain around the edges. And I love this one. It reminds me of walls, you know, house walls from the 60s or whatever. House walls in my house I grew up in. This one I did the paintbrush, and on the last video I talked quite a bit about these paintbrushes. They just come from Walmart, and if I had the package right now I'd tell you what the brand is. That's like $4.95 for a package that's got like 25 brushes in it. It's an excellent, excellent deal. I've said this before, acrylic paints are very, very hard on your brushes, so I don't recommend buying expensive brushes. You'll just wind up throwing them away. But this comes with a variety of different types of brushes. A soft brush, which is great for putting on varnishes and just base coats if you don't want any brush marks. These soft brushes are really good for that. A detailed brush. This just happened to be a chisel brush. It's good for doing some detail work. And then they've got these different, they remind me of a boar bristle brush, and they're really stiff. It's like a stencil brush, that type of stiffness, but it's just a regular flat paintbrush. So this is what I've used in the gesso to get this almost, not on this one in particular, but graining like you can do wood grain, and this one is waves. Look how well you can see that. And then it's just done with this homemade blue silver shimmer spray that I'd made. This one's done with a palette knife again, and it's just swirls done in the gesso. And this is that sequin black metallic folk art paint with that toasted marshmallowy shimmer spray over the top. And like I said, I'm just wanting to show you how with gesso and some other things you can get some really, really neat backgrounds. This is strictly alcohol ink on photo paper, and it comes out where you can't even feel that there's anything on there. It's as smooth as photo paper. Really nice technique. And depending on how close or how high up your bottle is when you drop the paint, you can get different effects. I absolutely love this one. And I believe on this one and this one, yeah, I had actually moistened just with a sponge the surface with a little bit of alcohol so it would bleed out. I believe actually this one I moistened my sponge and then dropped the ink on there and sponged it. Great, great technique. I love that it's so smooth. This is that same photo paper, but I did a layer of gesso, and then while it was wet I laid this, you know, rubbery shelf liner stuff, and I used this piece over and over again and just rinse it and squeeze it out, and that's why it looks so yucky. So, but I love the like snake skin, alligator skin look. And then I just swiped some of the amethyst metallic folk art and the sapphire metallic folk art, and then I covered it with that ice blue glitter glue after that. Really nice effect on that one. This one's done very similarly, but with a piece of, you know, the netting that your onions come in, that kind of thing. I just put the gesso on and then laid that on there and then peeled it off. And this is my purple. This is some interference violet Pearl X powder and that metallic amethyst folk art paint with water. And the blue is the same. It's the sapphire, the metallic sapphire folk art paint, and a little bit of the just pearl, micro Pearl X powder. This is another one on the photo paper that's just the alcohol ink. At this time I sponged it on. The currant is the color. And then I did drops of the color, the currant color. And then just got just a tiny bit of copper alcohol mixatives on my sponge, and just barely sponged, I'm sorry about the glare, on the background. If you drop the alcohol mixatives straight onto the photo paper, it will peel off, flake off. I'll skip ahead and show you this one. because as you can see, I did the gold and the silver, and it's basically just flaked off. The center has flaked right off of the alcohol ink. And the background green, I'm not really sure the color on that one. I'd have to dig it out. This is, I just did a homemade gold. I just did a test for some homemade gold shimmer spray, and I didn't make very much of it, so that's what that is, just on the photo paper. This is that same current color, and sorry, it goes this way. I shimmer sprayed the blue color that I made and the purple kind of gradiating down. I don't know how well you can see that. This one, I believe, yeah, I did the purple and then I dropped water on it after that. I sprayed just water on it after that. That's why it's got that great marbly kind of look. Love that one. Okay, on this one I just did a coat of red acrylic paint, and then I dry brushed some of that interference violet on the top. Another quick tip that got cut off when my video wouldn't load for some reason. I don't have a crocodile or anything, so I have these wavy edged scissors, and that's how I make my tag corners. I just take 2 of the scallops from the scissors and at a 45 cut the corners, and then same thing with the rounded corners, just like that. You can also do I did this on the other video, you can do ticket corners. Just like that. Super simple, super cheap. I just picked up several more pair literally at the 99-cent store. So those are fantastic, and they did have wavy edge ones. Okay, those were the ones that I did, like I said before, I got the Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. These are the ones that I did today. Same general techniques. On this one I just used the gesso and my paintbrush and did a sort of a stylized kind of wood green. And then I sprayed this one with the Gossamer Gold and a little bit of the Cocoa Bean Copper. This one is just waves like I did on the other one, done with the paintbrush and sprayed with the Frosted Forget-Me-Nots. This one I did heat set the gesso while it was still wet before I sprayed it, so it bubbled up just a little bit. I like the way that gives that kind of foamy sea kind of look, stirred up waves. This one is just the dots I did on the background with the gesso and then heat set it, and this is sprayed with the scintillating silver. Now if I would have painted white acrylic paint over this before I sprayed it with the scintillating silver, you wouldn't see the yellow of the gesso, because gesso is not it's not completely white. It does have a little tint of color to it, a little yellowy color compared to your paper. And this is probably not the whitest paper. This is just that Georgia Pacific cardstock, and I'm pretty sure there's whiter paper. This one I just did again with the brush, and I just did swirls like that with my paintbrush. And then sprayed, and where of course there was no gesso, the color of the spray is a little more intense, and I like that. You can't really see the detail of the swirls very well. I've done other ones where you can see it better, but let's see, maybe on this one you can see a little bit. It really has a nice effect. You could do background paper, you know, and then put pattern paper on top. You could do, there's so many things to do with this. Like this one, I just did a little frame around the top part and left the bottom just that wavy edge. And my intent is to go back, let's see if I can hold this, is to go back with some little tiny bit of green and just sponge on a bit, and then do some purple and almost try to make it look like wisteria hanging down. I think that'll be pretty. So there's those. I've still got these couple to do This one's dry now, so we can spray that in a minute. I don't know if y'all do this. I'm sure a lot of you do. That you save the paper that you spray on. Look at some of the beautiful colors you can get. Whew. So pretty. I saved my... Excuse my spray box for a second. And yeah, here will be my next my next round of saved ones. This one has flowers on it. And here's the ones I just took out. Just some spectacular color. Really rich. I can't wait to do something with that. Alright, so that's it for now. I'll come back in a minute and take care of doing these. Sorry, my first video did not want to upload onto my computer off my camera. But these are my first round of Lindy's Stamp Game sprays. A Starburst spray in the Golden Sleigh Bells. This is the Glitz Spritz in the Cactus Gold. Another Starburst, and this one is the Silent Night Silver. Another Starburst, and this one's the Mission Bells Brown, and as you can see, I like that one. I like them all. What am I talking about? Yeah, this is another one of the Starburst, and I really love this one, Golden Lump of Coal. I have to, like, restrain myself from using that one all the time. And this one's a Moon Shadow Mist, and it is the Gossamer Gold. I use that a lot as well. Another of the Starburst, and this is the Cocoa Bean Copper. Another Glitz Spritz, and this one is the Scintillating Silver. And last but not least, this one is a Starburst, and it is the Frosted Forget-Me-Nots, which surprisingly was a little bit bluer than I expected, and I like it. So I cannot wait to order some more. I want them all. Okay. Alright. If y'all have any cool tips, tricks, or anything else like that, let me know. Love the Gesso Resist. There's lots of tutorials out there for Gesso resist techniques. You can use the Gesso with your stencils and your masks, and then spray over that, and whoa, what a fantastic technique that is. I don't have very many stencils or masks, so I haven't tried that one yet, but like I said, lots of fun things to do, just to give y'all something else to look at while I'm chatting away. Alright, there is the replacement part for my first part of the video. I'll be back to spray the ones that we did a few moments ago, a few moments from now, because now I'm confused. Alright, I'll be right back.